Hello and welcome to our very first live broadcast of a MotoGP race. It is the season's 8th race, the Dutch TT in Assen, broadcasted live by Go Racing TV. I'm Frank Piper, and alongside me in the booth is a former winner of this race, Anthony West, who won this very race in the 250cc class in 2003 and in its successor class, the Moto2, in 2014.
Greetings everybody.
Anthony, how does it feel to be back here? I know we are not live at the track, but at our studio in Nilsville, Missouri, but it is still awesome to see the MotoGP back in Assen.
It's just amazing. This track is like the best thing in the world.
Anthony West wins the Dutch TT here at Assen.
It's been a long time ago, and a lot of hard years in between from my last win to now.
I can see you love nothing more than looking back to those two victories.
Actually, I do love something more. And that is racing myself.
Oh yeah, you are still competing yourself. From what I heard, you are competing in both the Australian Superbike and the Asia Road Racing Championship.
Correct, Frank. Therefore it is a good thing that it is winter in Australia and way too tropical hot in southern Asia. Otherwise I wouldn't be here.
And afterwards it will be the MotoGP that will enter summer break for 6 weeks. The next race after the Dutch TT will be the Styrian Grand Prix on August 8th. Anthony, will you be among us there too?
I hate to disappoint you, but likely not. Because one weekend earlier, there will be the Asia Road Racing Round in China, and then the ASBK Championship continues.
But nevertheless, now I would say it is time to focus on the race itself since it are only a couple minutes until the start. In general, the Anglo-Saxon riders have been doing great in the qualifying. In Moto3, Petronas sprinter rider John McPhee scored his 6th Moto3 pole position. The Scot is joined by our team prodigy Pedro Acosta as well as his own teammate Adam Binder, the younger brother of Brad Binder. In MotoGP, Jack Miller, the 2016 winner, scored his first pole of the season and is only second after Austin 2018. His debut on the grid makes Garrett Gerloff from Woodlands, Texas. He replaces an injured Franco Morbidelli at Petronas Yamaha. And against all odds, he made it to Q2 and there he managed to score an astonishing 10th. Anthony, your thoughts on Garrett's shocking debut?
I'd say he merely qualified the same way he usually does in World Superbike. He already substituted for Valentino Rossi in free practice, therefore he knows the M1.
What can we expect from him in the race?
Definitely at least 6 to 8 points, at least if he does not race the same way he does in World Superbike.
And in Moto2, the pole even goes to an American rider. And no, it is not Joe Roberts, he starts down in the 7th. The pole man has been really a major upset. Fabio Di Giannantonio seemed to have it in the bag, but then, Cameron Beaubier topped it out of nowhere by a thousandth of a second. I'd say this is amazing. The man who dominated the AMA Superbike champion finally made his bet in Moto2.
Yeah, it indeed is, but nowadays, in the tough rain it is difficult to pick as a favourite. And of course we have Remy Gardner, who will try to score his 4th win in a row.
Yes, with Jack and Remy we have two Aussies that compete for the title in the two higher classes. Last weekend we even had one Aussie in each class. Because at this Assen rain, Joel Kelso filled in for Daniel Holgado, who himself is filling in for an injured Maximilian Kofler at CIP. However, since there is no Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup this very week, Holgado will replace Kofler again here at the Dutch TT.
I think we will agree that Remy is on a great way become the second son of a former world champion to become world champion himself after Kenny Roberts Jr.
However, as usual, we'll begin with the Moto3 race. Let us look at the championship stands of all three classes, shall we? Pedro Acosta is leading the Moto3 by a huge margin of 54 points. We need to remember that he is a rookie and yet riding like he had lots of experience. Also, KTM and their daughters Gas and Husqvarna are filling the top 5 with their riders. The best Honda rider is Dennis Foggia of Leopard Racing. In Moto2 classes standings also look very clear, and yet again it is a Red Bull KTM AO rider dominating. Even though he does not ride a KTM himself, Sanlos looked like the main title contender coming into the season, but after 2 wins in the opening rounds in Qatar, several crashes would follow. And finally, in the Premier class, Yamaha factory rider Fabio Quartararo is leading with 131 points. He has a bit of breathing room, then 3 Ducatis following the standings. Former Moto2 champions Johan Zarco and Pecco Bagnaia have never won in the Premier class yet, while Jack Miller's Dutch TT victory 2016 had been his lone victory for years. Now luckily he managed to score 2 wins in a row. One in Jerez, after Quartararo's bad luck, and another one in Le Mans, in a flag-to-flag race, despite of a long lap penalty. I would say it's time for racing action in the Moto3 category since the grid is filled now. There will probably be rain all over all 3 races. The air temperatures are 64 degrees Fahrenheit while the track temperatures are 70 degrees Fahrenheit. This track's beautiful at every weather. It's perfect when it is raining like in St. Peter's fashion. Here we have Acosta being concentrated to exceed his left even further. Daring Bind most certainly is motivated a lot despite of a couple bad races. He already won his first race last year in Catalonia, and now Assen seems to be a fitting place for victory number 2.
From the last years we have learned one thing, and that is that Moto3 is unpredictable. However, here in rain it is more likely for a rider to pull away. See Garcia in France.
John McPhee, the poleman, also most certainly is one of the men who have high hopes for this race. He was called one of the title favorites going into the season. However, in the first 8 races he crashed out in 5 of them. Right now he is sitting in 16th in the standings. Time for the grid. Row 2 consists of Messier, Rodrigo and Antonelli, Infinati, Garcia and Minio, Yamanaka, Focha and Wakova, and Chu, Salac and Suzuki. There are still only 27 riders on the grid, since MotoGP it is to occupy the seat of Jason Dupasquier, who lost his life in a tragic incident in Jello, and that gets us to another topic. Anthony, is there anything the FIM could do to prevent further accidents like that from happening?
Well, to be fair, the riders know what they are doing, I know it too. All people who ever climbed the Mount Everest also have known what they were doing. The really tragic deaths are those that happen all out of nowhere, such as Waldy. A heart attack at the age of 51. I remember how I raced against him at the '99 Argentinian GP.
Yeah, I'm with you. The less expected, the more tragic. But now it's time to focus back on the formation lap. Thanks to the rain, all riders are on one and the same tires. I wonder if this might be an opportunity for Pedro Acosta to pull away the same way Raul Fernandez did in Valencia and Portimao the previous season. Yes, he won 4 of his first 8 crashes, only crashed once at the French GP and even finished 8th that time, but all his victories had been extremely close.
Well, what matters is that he simply scores the points he needs, regardless whether or not there is a gap.
That's correct too. Oh, and another replacement driver is Elia Bartolina who fills in for Carlos Tellier of Interspensorama Racing. Now the drivers are about to get back to their grid positions for the 9th race of the season. And the race is about to start. Let's go.
Binder is leading, while McPhee lost a couple positions.
Best start from Darren Binder, then Gabriel Rodrigo and Jaime Messier. A terrifying start however from John McPhee, he has dropped down to 7th. The field goes through a Sprokel.
The top 4 already try to pull away.
Oh my. Garcia. He's out.
That is anything but great for Sergio Garcia's championship chances. The gas pilot had already been 55 points behind Acosta. I suppose we will be seeing a lot more crashes today. With the kind of weather on the track it is not easy to stay seated.
Binder, Rodrigo, Messier, Acosta, Yamanaka, that is the current top 5. McPhee has taken 6th from Dennis Foggia and Andrea Minio.
A battle for 5th between Yamanaka and McPhee.
While in front Binder is still leading clear ahead of Rodrigo and the 2 Red Bull OKTMs. John McPhee is in 5th now.
If we look at John's current pace, it looks like a 5-way battle for the win.
McPhee right now has nothing to lose, he is in desperate need of some top results. At the age of 26, it is the oldest driver in the field and he's running out of time. In general, the Petronas crew is way below the expectations this year. Both Franco Morbidelli and Xavier Virge have scored a 3rd place each in the upper classes, but that's it.
And McPhee passes Acosta.
Now he is going after Jaime Messier,
also known as Macaulay Culkin. And he's through.
Now we have a pure Honda top 3. The last time we had one was in the San Marino GP 2019. Mistake from McPhee. He now has to go through the green. He better be careful or he'll receive a warning.
Major is back in third.
Rodrigo tries to pass Binder,
But Darren breaks later and maintains the lead for now. As we can see, the two leaders have already pulled away a little from the rest of the field. This is only possible on a wet track, where the riders cannot go full throttle.
and McPhee is going back to third. The top 5 have already stretched a great gap between themselves and the rest of the field.
And McPhee's on Gabriel Rodrigo's tail.
It is a bit of surprise it did not have many crashes in this race until now.
There will still be some coming during the final lap, trust me.
And McPhee passes Rodrigo.
And Binder too.
The lead has swapped, but can the Scot hold the line?
Nope, Binder responds perfectly.
But McPhee tries again instead and will. They're side by side, on their way to B-build. McPhee goes for another attack against his teammate. And he's through.
But now he received a track limit warning. He better be careful from now on.
Which gets us to another topic. Anthony, do you have any opinion on the current track limit laws?
If I'm honest, they are ridiculous. See the Moto2 race in
And
Mugello
Binder put himself back in the lead.
only to be passed by McPhee once again.
What a race between the two Petronas Hondas. Now,
Especially from McPhee, if we see how much his bike is wobbling.
and now he nearly went off track again.
And again, this time in Ramshoek.
But he keeps the lead nevertheless. A thrilling last lap is about to start. Rodrigo and Acosta are going for an attack. And Massa now takes over the lead.
Now the relaxation is starting.
And Rodrigo takes the lead from Massa. Look at that. What a move from John Fast.
The top 5 just cannot decide. All I know is that everyone wants to be first going into the final sector.
Into Strubben they go.
If they continue to race this way, the other riders still may have a chance to catch up.
Right now, McPhee perfectly holds his line, while they are going 4 wide behind him.
And now they are 5 wide.
In front are McPhee and Rodrigo, then Binder and the 2 KTMs.
What do you want more? Even though it's nothing new in Moto3.
Now there's contact between Rodrigo and McPhee. And contact again between the two, and they touch the rest of the top 3 too. Look at it.
Now it no longer are a group of 5, but a group of many.
Who will have the greatest advantage through the build?
McPhee still maintains the lead.
With Rodrigo directly on his tail.
The group goes down to Xavier Artigas in 12th.
McPhee and Rodrigo are still side by side. A pack of 12 riders racing through the Sluit.
That will definitely cause some trouble during the last couple turns.
And now they're all going for first. Can you believe what you're seeing?
I can, otherwise, I wouldn't be seeing it.
They are 5 wide in Ramshoek. 2 turns left.
You mean right.
And Acosta crashes. The championship leader is out.
Yamanaka and Kato Toba have gone down too. Who'll win it now?
Binder or McPhee. Side by side to the finish line.
McPhee.
John McPhee wins the Dutch TT. Now that was the type of racing we all hoped for, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Now, we have to take a look at the crash in the last corner caused by Pedro Acosta, who was involved in there again.
Well, Yamanaka and Filip Salac were, but both have gotten back on their bikes and made it into the points anyways. And all crashed riders have gotten up again.
Well, that is a relief. But what about Acosta? From what I see, he has not managed to get back up in time. With other words, this is the first DNF for the youngster.
Well, every series has to end at some time.
Time to take a look at the final results. A triple victory for Honda, McPhee ahead of Binder and Rodrigo, then Massa as the best KTM ahead of Minio, Artigas, Yuki Tsunoda, Izan Guevara, Filip Salac and Niccolo Antonelli. The points are completed by Risa Monaca, Dennis Foggia, Romano Fnati, Daniel Holgato and Andy Fardisditer. Now it's time for interviews with the top three. Our pit reporter Lancel Bercaron is live on the track to interview the riders on the podium. Let's start with Gabriel Rodrigo.
Thank you, Frank and Anthony. Gabriel, your third Moto3 podium as well as your second one with Grisney. Your thoughts on this race?
It's just amazing. We were able to compete for the victory over the whole race, but nevertheless I am satisfied with this third place. I feel sorry that Jeremy's race was ruined.
Wise words from Gabriel Rodrigo. Now to our man on second place, Darren Binder.
Darren, a great second place from you after a long battle with your teammate. Are you satisfied or did you want to win?
Why though? Of course I wanted to win, but it still is good enough. Me and John had a great battle, but in the end he was quicker. I'm just crashed. I've managed to stay on the bike.
And now time for the winner.
John, what a fantastic victory after such a mediocre season so far. Many congrats.
Thank you, ladies. After all that has happened over the last couple months, it's a massive relief. I don't know what to say. I just want to thank my team and everyone who supported me.
I don't think anyone could argue with John.
Time for the national anthem. Despite not having scored any points in this very race, Pedro Acosta's points lead remains at 55 points, as his main title contender Sergio Garcia has not scored anything either.